Apologies for the break in signal earlier on, but we did see it coming. We've got lucky and have managed to relocate on the same herd of elephant that we got a brief glimpse of. And they are going to hopefully continue feeding towards us. They've actually moved quite quickly, and I'm surprised at how quickly they've moved to get here. Brian and I both thought we had missed them, but lo and behold, they are still here and should continue to feed on towards us and hopefully get a little bit closer as time goes on. We will also be able to try and reposition the vehicle a little bit later. But we've just arrived, stopped the vehicle, and are now establishing what to do next. I think I might drive ahead a little bit to try and establish where the rest of the herd was. There seemed to be about 15 members in the herd roughly, so a lot more than what we're seeing here, and I just want to make sure you know where the rest are, because they may be in a spot that is better for our viewing. Around onto another road, and that should provide us with the best angle and the best position to wait in. It's a beautiful antelope on our right that we can stop and have a look at. This is a beautiful big male in Nyala. He's in his prime, and after the summer bounties he is really looking impressive. And in the coming weeks and months, we're going to hopefully be able to show you the Nyala bulls competing with one another for rights to females, and they've do a really interesting kind of walking dance, if you could call it that, where they erect the hair on their mane, down their back, and do this strange pronking walk in circles with one another. And that's how they try and establish who's biggest and strongest without coming to blows. But sometimes that ritualistic dance that they do is not enough to seal the deal regarding who's in charge, and they will then come to blows with one another. Popped up and coming straight down towards us now. A shot like this makes you think about doing, when you are on a walking safari, how easy it is to oversee an animal as big as an elephant. And that's why you tend to try and avoid areas of thick vegetation, because even the largest of animals can be hidden by the thick bush here. And just judging by the sound, it does sound like the rest of the herd are slowly making their way towards us. It's the only kind of way to establish where the individual animals are in the herd. And they do sound like they are coming towards us. This one certainly is. And another one has just popped into the frame behind him. Going to reposition ever so slightly. Blair from Canada. Good morning and welcome on board. Blair is asking whether elephants are considered to be browsers or grazers, because they do both, and I think the term for that is mixed browsers, so they mix it up between browsing and grazing, and I think people call that mixed browsing. So a combination of the two, and it's not only browsing and grazing that they do, but they also have a few other tricks up their sleeve. Prying bark off trees is one of them, so that's neither browsing nor grazing, and also pushing over trees in order to access the root systems and chewing on the roots in the drier months. So they certainly are very resourceful and probably feed on one of the highest varieties of vegetation out here relative to the other animals. They really can capitalize on so many different parts of plants, the fruits, the leaves, the roots, the grasses, depending on what time of year that specific plant or fruit or grass may be at its most nutritious. Good question, Blair. Thanks for sending that through. Okay, so in between feeding, it's not uncommon to do a little bit of friendly wrestling. And I can see other members of the herd slowly getting towards us, and it is worth sticking around for here because there's a few small members in this herd, I believe, so look forward to seeing them, but they have drastically slowed down their speed relative to how quickly they were moving earlier. We'll try and reposition again because Brian's not having an easy job at the moment with the angles he's got. Look at the one trying to eat at the same time. So just some friendly argy-bargy between what looked to be two young bulls, and I guess practicing for more important fights in years to come. And there's a tiny little youngster that we're probably not going to be able to see that seems to be trying to join in on their fun. All I can see is the bushes really moving where it's running, but it seems to want to get involved with its older cousins. There it is, just to the right of them, behind them. And the rest of the herd are slowly but surely getting to us, and in a few more minutes I think we're going to have some great views. You can hear a Cape turtle dove calling in the background, and depending on the time zone or your preferences, it rings out either drink lager, or work harder. So it's up to you what you decide to remember the Cape turtle dove's call by, but those are two different ways of remembering. Look at how cute these youngsters are in this thick vegetation. They can hardly see where they're going, and sometimes almost lift their trunk up as if it's a periscope. And the moment we've all been waiting for is upon us. They have come out into this clearing and are now hopefully going to slowly walk past the vehicle or shake their head at us, and disgusted appeared, that one. Just going to reposition the vehicle now, knowing what's probably going to happen in terms of their movements. It'll make all of our lives a little bit better if I just preempt their movements. Okay, let's see this lady. Is she going to cause trouble with us? Or is she relaxed? Hello, lady. She walked up with quite a bit of intent, but has subsequently calmed down, and as you can see, feeding again. And we are no longer concerned by her behavior. It could have appeared that she was approaching aggressively, also simply because she was taking a little bit of a run up to get up a small embankment. Hello. Although she's still got something. She's not quite sure what she thinks of us yet, I think, but she's tolerating us for now. And possibly the matriarch. She was a big female, and also was the first of the herd to confront us, so to speak. And you can hear a few of the youngsters playing around with one another back there. And the matriarch's running back to make sure everything's okay, which is quite interesting. Oh. You just relax, everyone. Very interesting behavior going on between a few different cows in this herd. And Brian's doing his best to try and show you as much of what's going on as possible. But the female on the right that walked past us earlier ran back towards the rest of the herd when she heard that audio and was confronted by another one of the cows, which turned her around sharply. So, interesting behavior. I can't really tell you exactly why they've done this, but oof. That was a crazy noise. It was another youngster that's probably got a bit scared and has been left behind, and here it comes. It's probably going to come running past our vehicle. Oh, there you are, and it's probably missing its mother. Hello, you. Okay, just relax. Hey. There's nothing to worry about, sure, anyone. Shame. Hey, shame. I think that baby was just distanced from its mother and got really nervous. And it was, like I said, quite far away and in thick vegetation, and that's probably why it took its anger out on us. Brian's got a look of half horror, half happiness on his face, not knowing what to think. But we've got nothing to worry about. And wasn't that interesting behavior, seeing that little elephant having basically a little tantrum? And it did let off a loud scream, which was interesting. And I just want to try and get past these animals before the mother gives us any trouble. And keep our distance from them. You settle down, all of you. Relax.
I have to say, I've never heard a baby scream like that.
It wasn't the prettiest noise I've heard. And I think that's why we both have a look of kind of horror and happiness on our face at the same time. I'll just wait here for these elephants now. Give them a bit of space. They are a bit worked up, and we don't want to get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. So we'll give them a little space. Let that baby gather itself and calm down to a panic. Oh, no. It's a problem child, it appears. It's no wonder that mother left it in the bush for a few moments alone, for a bit of peace and quiet. But that little youngster came charging at us from a distance. Interesting. Very, very interesting behavior. Is still in the back there, and is gonna. There we go. Hello, you. And is going to continue to provide us with a bit more action. It appears it's run ahead of its mother now, and seems to be planning its next charge towards us. Although it's too soon to be sure. I'm not sure where the rest of the herd has gone. They may have split up. If the mother continues to feed towards us as she is, very slowly at the moment, but I'm guessing we will get another potential show from her calf as she comes past, so certainly worth waiting here for a few more minutes. Even though the view isn't great at the moment, so if she does continue, she's going to pop into a clearing, and her calf is going to follow along, and if its last little bit of behavior is anything to go by, it's going to certainly give us a little bit more attitude. So now Brian's showing you the kind of small opening that I'm hoping she's going to come towards. And that way provide us with some better views and also bring her highly strung calf along for the adventure. So go ahead. Got a question that's just come through from Joe in Canada. Good afternoon, or good morning, Joe, rather, and welcome on board. Joe is asking if I could expand a little bit about how elephants communicate with one another. And it's a good question, Joe, because they've got different ways of communicating. As you saw and heard earlier, that little calf came and trumpeted very loudly. So those loud trumpets are often calls of distress that are audible to the human ear and also obviously audible to the other elephants. There's also another low rumbling noise that we can hear, audible to humans and audible to elephants, which is typically more of a call of contentment, and it's usually a call when the elephants are relaxed and or happy. It's not a distress call like when they trumpet. And then interestingly enough, they can also communicate infrasonically, so through sound waves inaudible to the human ear, and they travel as vibrations through the earth and are picked up by the elephant's feet and then transferred as messages up into their brain. And they can communicate infrasonically over many, many miles. I think at least 20 miles to 30 miles is a very safe distance in terms of how far they can communicate with one another infrasonically. And interestingly, you can be in a sighting with elephants when you almost see them all stop and even lay their trunk down on the ground to help absorb those infrasonic frequencies together with their feet that have got very fatty deposits in them that also help pick up these infrasonic frequencies. So that's something that us as humans only discovered very recently, that they can communicate infrasonically, and really interesting how they can. Whew, now that the sun has popped out from behind this cloud, it is cooking. And the rest of the herd seems to be following now, so we should get a few more visuals as one or two members pass through. I wonder if we shouldn't creep forward into the shade here while we wait. No. Because I think this mother, she's just moved through that small gap, and here comes a little temper tantrum. Let's see what happens. Thinking about it. That's better. Just be a calm, friendly little elephant for now. Yeah, definitely. Stand by. Well, as wonderful as this sighting is, it seems like they've all calmed down, and I don't think we're going to miss out on any major action here. Importantly, Brent's animal, much similar to these ones, but let's go across to him and see what he's been up to.